propose you pardon DJ Rodriguez. He drove a stun gun into the neck of a DC police officer who was abducted by the mob that day. He later confessed on video to the FBI and pleaded guilty for his crimes. Why does he deserve a pardon?
Well, I don't know. Was it a pardon? Because we're looking at commutes and we're looking at pardons. Okay, well, we'll take a look at everything. But I can say this. Murderers today are not even charged. You have murderers that aren't charged all over. You take a look at what's gone on in Philadelphia. Take a look at what's gone off in L.A., where people murder people and they don't get charged. These people have already served years in prison, and they've served them viciously. It's a disgusting prison. It's been horrible. It's inhumane. It's been a terrible, terrible thing. I also say this: you go to Portland, where they wrapped police officers, shot police officers, nothing happened to anybody. You go to Seattle, where they took over a big chunk of the city and people died. Portland, a lot of people died. Wait a minute. And you go also, take a look at Minneapolis, because I was there and I watched it. And if I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city wouldn't even exist today. People were killed and nobody went to jail. So these people have already served a long period of time, and I made a decision to give a pardon. Joe Biden gave a pardon yesterday to a lot of criminals. These are criminals that he gave a pardon to. And you should be asking that question. Why did he give a pardon to all of these people that committed crimes? Why did he give a pardon to the J6 Unselect Committee when they burned and destroyed all documents which showed that they did what was wrong, not me? Wait a minute. Why did they give a pardon to all of his relatives, his brother who made millions of dollars, to all these different people? He gave pardons. That's the question you should be.
As you saw from the intro, Donald Trump is here already tussling with reporters to their face about how he's tired of them. And you saw from the intro, they're still not letting go of January 6th, right? I remember one of the clips or one of the videos I did yesterday was talking about how the media's insistence on focusing on January 6th. And one of the panelists that was speaking with Scott Jennings was saying, I bet you tomorrow will be Donald Trump still talking about the 2020 election and all this stuff. Donald Trump's not bringing up any of these questions. Reporters are, because they're mad and they want to question his pardons, which is fine. You can question someone's pardon. But many people are asking, where's the consistency here? Because Joe Biden pardoned death row criminals that was on death row, right? And Donald Trump made a good example about BLM, which is, I've been making this example all the time when I talk about January 6th. And the destruction, the assault on cops. BLM had all of that. Chaz. Y'all forget about Chaz in Seattle? It seemed like the left conveniently forgets about this stuff. But they weren't held accountable. They wasn't federally charged with nothing. Nothing out of them. They got bailed out by their political party with a slush fund led by Kamala Harris. And if you say, oh yeah, okay, Donald Trump should absolve them, at least they suffered some consequence for doing what they did January 6th. BLM got off scot-free. And this is a good pointing out of double standards that many conservatives are just tired of seeing. And if you still don't believe me, right? There was a theme I was kind of going with yesterday about how journalists can't serve two masters. Either they serve the Democratic Party or they serve the American people, right? And I'll reiterate it here again, just in case people didn't see my past two videos. Journalists cannot serve two masters. To the extent that they take on the task of suppressing information or biting their tongue for the sake of some political agenda, they're betraying the trust of the public and corrupting their own profession. Thomas Sowell. And that's exactly what's going on here. Because many people are pointing out how, hey, you're not being fair. If you're going to call out the pardons, call out the pardons equally. And it's so baffling to me how the liberal media think they can still get away with stuff like this. So let's take a look at the clip of a congressman calling out the fact that the media doesn't want to cover both sides of the story. And they seem that the master they serve through their actions are telling you it's the Democratic Party. And I'm going to continue hitting at this narrative at this point because I believe there's evidence is in plain sight in your face. There's a reason why 58% of Democrats trust the legacy media, because the legacy media pushes a worldview they agree with. Democrats are some of the most, narrow-minded voters in in these United States of America. Don't believe me? Just look at the stats. Democrat men and women are more likely to block, unfriend a person who has opposing political ideology. They are the people who are most likely to put themselves in an echo chamber. And if 58% of them trust the institution, most likely that institution is pushing a worldview they believe is favorable. But I digress. Let's take this 30-second clip, and then I'll show you an example of how Democrats are still struggling to respond to the pardons that Joe Biden has been giving both to his family and to and to Trump's political opponents. Let's take a look.
President Biden changed all this. Remember the 37 murderers that he commuted their sentences? Remember 2 of them, one that he pardoned, the one that he pardoned killed 2 FBI agents. Another one literally beat an officer to death with a hammer. And another one literally tied up a woman who had accused him of rape, tied her up in duct tape, put a center block around her, and threw her over a bridge live. And so you remember that the violence that he pardoned, and I'm just saying you got to compare both of them, Aaron. If you're going to cover the story, cover both stories. President Biden changed all this.
There you go. I'll reiterate the point again. Who do journalists serve, right? Here's the video I showed you in the intro. Like, let's listen in. Listen to who Joe Biden pardoned. And you didn't hear a zip out of the media. You didn't hear a zip out of reporters. You didn't hear a zip out of leftists. But listen to what the ones that Joe Biden, the reporters are saying, oh my God, Trump, you pardoned someone so bad.
Among those who pardoned DJ Rodriguez, he drove a stun gun into the neck of a DC police officer.
Yeah, I don't condone the actions. He drove a stun gun into a police officer. But compare that to what was listed out by this congressman.
Remember the 37 murderers that he commuted their sentences? Remember 2 of them, one that he pardoned, the one that he pardoned killed 2 FBI agents.
But I didn't hear about this until you guys brought up Trump. Make it make sense. And this is why people don't trust the mainstream media. Because we feel like, yo, you don't serve our interests. You serve someone else's interests. You serve your own interest. And you serve the interests of your political tribe. And last time I checked in journalism, there's more Democrats in journalism than Republicans. Only 3.8% of journalists are Republicans. And you wonder, like, they're so shocked of why people don't believe them. Check out this clip of Jamie Raskins struggling to make the point about how Joe Biden and Donald Trump's pardons are different. Let's take a look.
But look, the people who were pardoned in the morning were pardoned because we were innocent, and Donald Trump was threatening Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson and others with fraudulent political prosecutions. The people who were just pardoned a little while ago were pardoned because they were guilty of us violently assaulting police officers, carrying dangerous weapons inside the Capitol, destroying federal property, and so on. And it was just a mass pardon for all of them without even looking to see whether those people were rehabilitated and whether they continue to pose a threat to public safety.
You previously said on CNN, the quote, the seeking of pardons is powerful demonstration of the consciousness of guilt, or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble, and that's what's so shocking about this. Do you feel conflicted about the fact that President Biden did extend this pardon to you? I mean, he has faced criticism from other members of that committee who said, I don't want a pardon.
No, we didn't seek a pardon. Obviously, the president decided that there have been all of these threats of completely political prosecutions and persecution by the Trump administration. And so there were officers who got it. Dr. Fauci got it. General Milley got it. There's some other people I wish had gotten it. I wish Michael Cohen had gotten it. There were other people who I think are being threatened by the new administration. But that's a completely different thing from taking a mob of people who were convicted for violently assaulting police officers and then pardoning them en masse.
This above the law stick from the Democratic Party has not aged well for them, right? They want to complain about Trump's pardons, but I don't see as much complaining about Joe Biden's pardons, the kind of people that Joe Biden pardoned. Like, look at the opportunities that you have. Joe Biden pardoned over 8,000 times. That's a lot of things you can complain about in those pardons. Donald Trump just started his administration. This is like day 2, day 3, depending on when you're watching this video. And y'all complaining about this. 1,500 people he pardoned. Okay. Did they serve time in prison? Apparently a lot of them was in solitary confinement. I think that's enough punishment for assault on police. And this is the argument that conservatives are having, that our protesters get punished, serve time, and then we release them. Okay, they pardon them now. They served what? How many years? How long January 6th was? 4 years ago. 4 years in prison for assaulting a cop. I think that's fair. Trespassing, little much. Destroying property, depending on how much damage they cause. I think they served enough time. Pardon them. But Trump don't make any claims that they didn't commit a crime. Well, what about the Democrats? Joe Biden said, I'm giving you guys preemptive pardons. But, we're innocent. Like, you can't have the narrative both ways. And this is what I'm tired of from the left. This is why many people are tired of the left. The left want the narrative when it's convenient for them. Trump thinking about preemptive pardons for his family members, that's an admission of guilt, Joy Reid. Do I need to play the clips again? I don't think I need to play the clips again. I don't think I need to rehash clips. Joy Reid, liberal media, Adam Schiff. Oh, if you take this pardon, it's an admission of guilt. Now, 5 years later, Joe Biden do it. Oh, no, all of a sudden, it's somehow different. Oh, we're worried about being prosecuted by Donald Trump. Did Donald Trump do that last time? No. But Joe Biden sure the hell did. Went after pro-lifers, protesters. Make it make sense. He went after Donald Trump's friends, lawyers, anyone who's willing to be associated with Donald Trump, they went after. Raided his house. Tried to keep him off the ballot. Tried to save democracy by preventing democracy. Ignored their own voters when they said we wanted someone different other than Joe Biden. Democratic Party says, sit down, Democratic voter, and you're going to vote for Joe Biden. Then they found out Joe Biden couldn't beat Donald Trump. Then they did away with him. Put Kamala Harris in your face. Tell you he's a threat to democracy. It's baffling to me that the media still has the audacity to sit here and still think they have to trust the American people. And there's more stories to come. There's a lot of things that shows me every day who journalists serve, right? Here's Axios saying that a former sister-in-law to Pete Hegseth said that the ex-wife feared for her safety. The defense secretary nominee denies the claim. Here's the readers. These are people doing their own research. Hegseth's second wife, Samantha Hegseth, denied the allegations in a statement to NBC on Tuesday. There was no physical abuse in my marriage, she said in the statement. I do not believe your information to be accurate, and I have CC'd my lawyer, Sam Hegseth, told NBC. Samantha Hegseth said NBC. Checking to see if anyone has learned a damn thing? Nope. Journalists have not learned a damn thing. No matter how many times we try to warn them, no matter how many times we try to tell them, they just don't listen. Because the reality is, journalists in this day and age, and this is just my assumption, this is just my opinion, journalists this day and age, their whole purpose is not to inform the American public. It's to control the perception of the American public for the ends of a political party. And I think we know which political party that these journalists support. All you have to do is look at the data. 48% of journalists are Democrats. Allegedly, 52% of them are independents, aka not visibly Democrat. Only 3.8% of journalists are Republican. So if journalists are not serving the interests of the American people and they're serving the interests of political parties, let's say I make that accusation bipartisanly. Okay, Republican journalists are always going to spin it in a Republican way. Democratic journalists are always going to spin it in a Democratic way. Independents are people who pretend that they're neutral, but in reality, they do lean one way or the other. That's because I speak as an independent, and this is the reality. As an independent, you lean certain directions compared to other directions most of the time. You just don't want to call yourself something. That's what independent means in this day and age. And if I believe that saying, I'm like, hey, like, there's not enough diversity of views in journalism. Journalism in 2018 was named the most liberal profession in the US of A. Journalism. And you wonder why many of them get accused of liberal bias. Because through their actions, they verify this worldview, they verify this theory every damn way. They just based on the angles, they cover a lot of these stories. And we got a lot to cover today. But I wanted to start off with this one because January 6th is still in their top of their minds 4 years later. 4 years later. No one cares about January 6th. Many people at this point say, hey, someone assaulted a cop and they spent 4 years in jail. Do you think that's adequate enough time of a punishment for doing that offense? Some people say, yeah, that is. Like, make it make sense. I think you might have had an argument if Donald Trump did that the year 2021 before he left office, like Joe Biden did. But 4 years later, I think Donald Trump has the right on this. They serve enough time. You assaulted cops? Okay. Did they kill any cops? No, but Joe Biden pardoned cop killers. The media ain't worrying about that, though, because they expose themselves as merely political actors. But I digress. I think I ranted on long enough. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. I hope you found this insightful. If you do, please share the video. It will really help me out and this channel. See you guys on the next one. Peace.